His girlfriend poured the petrol. His best friend threw the lighter. And as the flames swallowed him alive, his best friend whispered, "Sorry, Yang. I'll take everything you have." But 3 days before the world ends, Huyang opens his eyes again. And this time, he's ready for all of it. Huyang wakes up screaming, but there's no fire, no wounds, no smoke, just a quiet bedroom and the sound of morning traffic outside the window. He sits up slowly and stares at his hands. Both of them perfectly fine. No burns, no scars. He checks his phone, and that's when his blood runs cold. July 1st, 2028. The same date he died. He walks to the mirror, and the moment he sees his reflection, he knows this is real. His right eye, it's gold now. Not normal gold. A deep, burning, ancient gold, like a fire that never completely went out. Because it didn't. That spark? It stayed with him from the moment Lu Ruyan poured the petrol and Shi Zhuan threw the lighter. He died. He burned. And somehow, he came back. And here's the thing you need to understand right now. Huyang isn't confused. He isn't crying. He isn't sitting on his bed wondering what happened. He opens that door and walks outside with one single thought already formed in his head. 3 days. I have 3 days before the world turns to hell. And this time, I know exactly what to do. The city outside looks completely normal. Green trees, honking taxis, people arguing over parking spaces. Nobody has any idea that in 72 hours, 90% of them will be zombies. But Huyang sees this city like a man who's already watched it burn, because he has. And then his phone rings. Lu Ruyan. The old Huyang would have picked up immediately, would have spoken softly, apologized for things that weren't his fault, done everything she asked just to keep the peace. But that version of Huyang burned to death 3 days from now. This version picks up the phone and then says 2 words. "Let's break up." Dead silence on the other end. "I'm tired," he adds. And then he blocks her number. He puts the phone in his pocket, and for the first time in what feels like a lifetime, the world goes quiet. No more walking on eggshells. No more pretending. No more being the fool that everyone uses. He almost smiles. Almost. Meanwhile, in Lu Ruyan's apartment, Shi Zhuan is lying on her bed when the call ends. He looks at her and asks if Huyang found out about them. Lu Ruyan throws her phone at the wall. But then Shi Zhuan gets a message from his father. Collect ancient objects, anything with real energy, something big is coming. And immediately, Shi Zhuan thinks of one thing. The copper tablet. The one Huyang's family has kept for generations. The one currently around Hu Yun's neck, Huyang's little sister. Shi Zhuan smiles slowly. Getting things from that fool has always been easy. He trusts everyone. They don't know it yet. But that fool died once and came back. And he remembers everything. Huyang takes a taxi 50 kilometers to his sister's school. When little Hu Yun sees him, the first thing she notices is his eye. She reaches up and touches his face gently and asks what happened to it. He doesn't answer that. Instead, he asks her one question. "Do you trust your brother completely?" She says yes without hesitating for even a single second. No questions, no conditions, just yes. He tells her to pack everything and come home now. She agrees. And as he watches her run off to get her things, Huyang makes a silent promise to himself. In his last life, Shi Zhuan killed both of them. He used little Yun's blood in some twisted ritual to activate the copper tablet. She didn't even understand what was happening to her before it was over. This time, that story has a different ending. Back at the apartment, Huyang holds the copper tablet in both hands. It's old, heavy, covered in markings that most people would look at and see nothing. But the moment his right eye sparks, golden fire drops fall from it directly onto the surface of the tablet. 2 enormous characters appear, the Xiongyu, the great prison coffin, and then the world splits open in front of him. A tunnel made of pure time pulls him forward, and suddenly he's standing above something so massive it makes his stomach drop. A coffin the size of a small city, bound in chains thick as ancient trees. Every floor of it holds something trapped, and every trapped thing is screaming. Lightning strikes fall constantly from inside, keeping the prisoners in line. The sound alone is enough to make a grown man lose his mind. But Huyang just stands there and looks at it. That's when a voice speaks, calm, female, ancient. Welcome, master of the Xiongyu. Her name is Daji, a fox spirit. She's been tied to this family for generations, watching over the tablet, waiting for the right person. She tells him everything. The prison was built thousands of years ago by 12 gods working together. Every criminal deity, every monstrous beast that broke the laws of heaven and earth, they're all in here, locked in, being struck by lightning every single day as punishment. And Huyong? He holds the only key that can open any of it. Daji tells him something else too. His death, the burning, the rage, the absolute despair of those final moments. It woke something up inside him. A dark fire that had been sleeping in his bloodline for years. She just showed him the door. He walked through it himself. And I bet you didn't see that coming. Our guy isn't just a man with a second chance. He's a man with a prison full of gods at his back. The next morning, Hu Yang goes to the antique street. He walks through it slowly, his right eye seeing what nobody else can. The energy levels inside every object on every table. Most of it is worthless. Fake antiques made last year and aged with tea stains. But there, tucked under an old gourd tied with a broken rope, is something real. The Kushian rope, a binding rope of legend. The kind of thing that could tie down gods if you know how to use it. He picks it up just as old Master Huang, the Shi family's hired antique expert, reaches for it. 1 second too slow. Now here's where Hu Yang does something beautiful. The shopkeeper is trying to charge 10,000 for the gourd. Hu Yang starts making noise. Loudly, he shouts to the gathering crowd that a rich family's mother herself came here to buy this gourd. Suddenly everyone wants it. The price explodes. Master Huang ends up paying 17,000 for a gourd he expected to get for 10,000. And Hu Yang? He got the rope for almost nothing. Because he grabbed it, not the gourd. The antique market didn't know. It just watched a legend rob them blind with a smile on his face. But the Shi family isn't done. Old Shi Zhuan's father, approaches Hu Yang in the market. His wife tries warmth and flattery, asks to see the ancient copper tablet. Hu Yang plays completely innocent. Sure, he says. 10,000 per minute. He holds out his payment code. Old Shi grits his teeth and pays. Hu Yang tosses the tablet to Master Huang to examine, and then starts casually shopping while the experts run around analyzing it. Master Huang confirms it's real and worth about 500. Old Shi offers 10,000. Hu Yang says 10 million. Old Shi nearly has a heart attack. The negotiation ends there. But the moment Hu Yang walks away, Old Shi gets on the phone. Shi Zhuan, take some men. Get Hu Yang's sister. Get the tablet. And bring them all to me. He also mentions, very quietly, that the ancestor spirit demanded virgin blood for the ritual. Hu Yang hears none of this. But he doesn't need to. He already knows. And things are about to get very dark for Hu Yang's little sister. Back in the city, Hu Yang has one more stop before he goes home. His house. The apartment his parents left him. The one Lu Rian once said would be their wedding home. He's selling it. Lu Rian is waiting outside his building when he arrives, dressed up, makeup on, ready to smile her way back in. She opens her mouth to say something sweet. He literally moves her to the side with one hand like a piece of furniture and announces he's selling the apartment. 1 million flat. Cash only. Lu Rian thinks. He'll be dead in 3 days anyway. The money passes through his hands and into mine. She agrees and transfers the money on the spot. They both think they're conning the other. But only Hu Yang knows the truth. After the apocalypse, that apartment is worth exactly 0. He just extracted 1 million from his own enemy, and she's standing there feeling clever about it. The registration papers are signed. Lu Rian walks away smiling. Hu Yang counts the money and buys medicine. Because here's what Hu Yang knows that nobody else does. The most important resource in the early days of the apocalypse isn't weapons. It isn't food. It's a completely ordinary Chinese herbal medicine called Shangqing Dan, a basic cold and fever remedy that costs almost nothing in normal times. When someone is already infected, just in turn, 1 dose of Shangqing Dan can stop the infection. More than that, it can trigger a supernatural awakening. The fever that normally turns you into a zombie instead becomes a breakthrough. You come out the other side with power. In his last life, Hu Yang watched his sister die because they couldn't find even one box of it. He walks into the first medicine shop and asks for 1 ton. The pharmacist girl stares at him, asks him to repeat that. He does. She starts laughing nervously. He's completely serious. He negotiates a 20% premium and orders everything they have in stock, plus an online order covering every supplier in the city. By the end of the day, Hu Yang has cornered the entire city's supply of Shangqing Dan. Every last box. He doesn't know it yet, but he just accidentally decided the fate of dozens of people. Some of them will become heroes. Some of them will become monsters. And all of it traces back to this one afternoon in a medicine shop. The city has 2 days left, and our guy is just getting started. The copper tablet glows in Hu Yang's hands, and he steps back inside the Xiongyu for the first time as its real master. Not as a visitor, not as someone being shown around, as the owner. Daji leads him down through the levels of the great prison coffin. Every floor they pass, the sound changes. The screaming gets different. Some levels have what sounds like roaring. Some have what sounds like gods begging. Lightning strikes every few seconds, and the air tastes like burning metal. And then Hu Yang stops, because on the lowest floor, in a cage barely big enough to hold it, is something he recognizes instantly. A massive black bear. Ancient, at least a king among beasts by any standard. And it looks at Hu Yang and goes completely limp. "New master," it shouts. "Young and hardworking. We've been waiting thousands of years. Whatever you say." And then it pushes its lips out in the most ridiculous expression you've ever seen on a creature that could crush a building. Daji nearly loses her mind from embarrassment. Stop embarrassing yourself in front of the master. You were king of all beasts for thousands of years, and now you're acting like a house pet. The black bear ignores her completely. From another cage, a bird-faced creature wrapped in lightning speaks in a voice like grinding stone. "I don't need this tablet to control me. Strike me with lightning for another 1,000 years. I still won't bow." That one's Lei Zenji. Powerful, arrogant, completely unwilling to cooperate. The black bear shoots him a look. Daji explains quietly, the upper floors hold things far more dangerous than the bottom levels. The bottom level alone has beasts that could level city blocks. Lei Zenji is above them. And above Lei Zenji? Things even Daji doesn't want to name yet. But here's the rule Daji gives him. Soul energy is what unlocks rooms. Soul energy is what calls prisoners forward. And soul energy comes from only one place, killing gods. Regular zombies and monsters give supernatural strength. But soul energy? That requires something divine. 3 days from now, when the sky breaks open and gods start falling through, that's when Hu Yang goes hunting. For now, he leaves the prison and goes back to the real world. There's still the small matter of his sister being in danger. He arrives at Hu Yun's school to pick her up and walk her home. Her class teacher stops him at the door. Young woman, serious expression, extremely confident that education cannot be paused for any reason. She lectures Hu Yang about Hu Yun's future, about responsibility, about how no emergency is important enough to pull a student from school. Hu Yang listens politely, and then he says, "Thank you for caring about her. Here's some advice in return. Go home. Buy as much food, water, and medicine as you can carry. Get weapons if possible. Stock up on Shangqing Dan specifically. And whatever you do, do not go outside after dark." The teacher stares at him like he's insane. He takes his sister's hand and walks away. That teacher is going to remember this conversation. And soon. Meanwhile, at the Shi family compound, old Shi is meeting with Shi Juan and his men. The plan is simple. Hu Yang's sister has the copper tablet. Hu Yang is unpredictable now. Something changed in him. So they go around him. They take little Yun directly. Shi Juan handpicks his men, and they go to the building while Hu Yang is still out. They knock on Hu Yun's door. Shi Juan puts on his warmest voice. "Little Yun, it's me, brother Shi Juan. Your brother sent me to pick you up." Hu Yun's hand is already on the door handle. And then she remembers. Her brother said, "No matter who comes, don't open the door." She steps back. She tells him through the door, "My brother isn't home. Please wait downstairs." Shi Juan's friendly voice drops instantly. He signals his men. Tools come out. The door handle starts to shake. Then the whole door shakes. And then with a single heavy kick, it splinters open. They grab Hu Yun. One man grabs her arm hard enough to leave marks. Shi Zhuan walks to her and rips the copper tablet from around her neck in one motion. He looks at little Yun's face, this terrified 14-year-old girl, and smirks. Want to know why I've been friends with your brother all these years? Because he's useful. He does whatever I want, takes the blame for things I do, and never once suspects anything. Your brother is the perfect fool. Hu Yun can't speak. She's shaking, but she doesn't cry. One of Shi Zhuan's men says something disgusting about her age. Shi Zhuan laughs, and that's when Daji decides enough is enough. The illusion hits all of Shi Zhuan's men simultaneously. 1 second they're in a normal apartment. The next they're sitting at the most beautiful feast they've ever seen. Gorgeous women serving them. Plates of food steaming in front of them. Music playing. They dig in immediately. And then they realize the food in their mouths, it's warm. But the taste is wrong. They look at their hands. There's blood on them. They look at their plates. And every single one of them realizes at the same moment what they're actually eating. Chaos. Pure chaos. Men on the floor. Men crying. Men crawling away from tables that aren't real. Daji appears in her true form. Ancient fox spirit. Completely terrifying. Smiling like this is the most fun she's had in centuries. Shi Zhuan tries to hold it together. He grabs the tablet, holds it up, and shouts, "This is a cheap trick. We've killed real people. We're not afraid of fake ghosts." He challenges the tablet directly. He calls it worthless. He calls it garbage. He says if it has any real power, show him. The tablet shows him. A purple claw the size of a man's torso reaches out from the surface of the tablet and swipes across the room. Something wet hits Shi Zhuan's face. He touches his cheek. Red. He looks down. The man standing next to him is gone. The tablet falls, clatters across the floor, and the apartment door opens. Hu Yun walks in, picks up the tablet, looks around at the chaos, grown men sobbing and writhing on the floor, and simply asks, "What is everyone staring at?" Shi Zhuan tries the loyalty angle. "We're old friends, Hu Yun. Think about everything we've been through. You came to my home," Hu Yun says. "You grabbed my sister. You stole what belongs to my family. And now you want me to think about friendship?" Lu Ruyan steps forward from the back. She pivots instantly, smile back on, voice soft. "Hu Yun, come on. I'll marry you. No dowry. No conditions. Just tell me how you got these powers, and we start over right now." Shi Zhuan uses the distraction to quietly pull a knife. High voltage Hu Yang's eyes fire. Not metaphorically. Literally fire. Golden dark fire shoots from his right eye and hits Shi Zhuan dead center. Shi Zhuan goes airborne and slams into the wall hard enough to crack it. The rest of the men charge with clubs and weapons. Hu Yun ignites all of them at once. 10 men, 10 simultaneous fires. Nobody burns to death, but everyone burns enough to drop their weapons and start screaming about their hands. Hu Yun looks at all of them on the floor and says something that sounds almost peaceful. "I always wondered why fire woke up inside me. Now I understand. The world is full of things that need cleaning. Fire exists to clean them." He walks out with his sister, but the Shi family isn't done with him yet. Not even close. Old Shi is furious beyond words. He's lost his men, lost the attempt to grab the tablet, and lost face in front of everyone. He goes to the family temple and calls on the one weapon he has left, the ancestor spirit. The Shi family has been worshipping this spirit for generations, building up its power through ritual, through prayer, through offerings. At this moment, the ancestor spirit is one step away from fully materializing in the physical world. Centuries of accumulated divine energy, all focused in one place. And now old Shi unleashes it on Hu Yun. The temple ritual begins. Red light fills every corner of the room. The energy crackles and twists. And then a voice, ancient and massive and furious, fills the building. 3 days. Prepare. Prepare within 3 days. Hu Yun kicks the temple door open. He walks in. Shi Zhuan is on the floor in front of him. The men who came at him first are already dealt with in about 4 seconds. Hu Yang's eye marks every guard simultaneously. Red targeting marks appear on their chests and foreheads. They swing at him, and he's already not there. He moves through the entire room like the fight is already over before it started. Old Shur pulls out a gun, a real one, points it at Hu Yang's chest. The gun's barrel gets a targeting mark. Hu Yang snaps his fingers. The gun rips itself out of Old Shur's hand and explodes in midair. Old Shur clutches his bleeding hands and drops to the floor. Hu Yang looks down at him and smiles. Auntie, don't play with fire. It sets a bad example. And that's when the fire ancestor decides it's time to step in personally. The floor shakes. The air ignites. An ancient old man wrapped entirely in living flame rises from the center of the temple. And when he looks at Hu Yang, it's the way you look at something small you're about to step on. 2 fire streams launch from the ancestor's hands. Hu Yang takes them both in the chest. Blood flies from his mouth. He goes down on one knee. Old Shur starts cheering. Shur Zhuan stares from the floor with wild eyes. And then Hu Yang lifts his head, smiles with blood on his teeth, and says, "Good. You're worth something." Daji's voice is urgent in Hu Yang's mind. She's telling him what she sees. This ancestor spirit is pure fire element, centuries of prayer and ritual concentrated into one being. If Hu Yang can absorb him, both his soul energy and his fire power leap forward by years in a single moment. Ow! Hu Yang asks through gritted teeth. The method requires sacrifice. He pushes his own soul energy into the Xiongyu, uses his own life force to call one prisoner forward. But if the plan fails and his soul energy collapses before the attack connects, his soul shatters. He doesn't come back from that, not even with dark fire. It's the highest risk move possible. One shot, no second chance. The fire ancestor steps toward him. The floor cracks under each step. And Hu Yang does something nobody in that room expects. He reaches into his jacket, pulls out the copper tablet, and holds it up. But he's not opening it yet. He's making a declaration. Listen carefully, all of you inside this thing. I've planted a dark fire seed in this tablet. If I die here, the seed burns. The tablet burns with it. And every one of you loses your only connection back to the physical world. Forever. Silence from inside the Xiongyu. Then the realization hits every prisoner simultaneously. Their one path to freedom is this man staying alive. So if you want to ever see the outside world again, Hu Yang continues, you better make sure I win. He pours soul energy into the tablet. A light appears at the top of it, a door cracking open. Inside, hundreds of imprisoned creatures suddenly surge toward that light. Chains rattle. The lightning inside the prison doubles in intensity. They want out. Hu Yang calls one name. Black Bear. Come out and fight. The door to the Black Bear's cage on the lowest floor flies open. And the Black Bear, king of ancient beasts, imprisoned for thousands of years, steps outside for the first time in longer than he can remember. His body expands, and expands, and expands. By the time he's fully outside the tablet, he's enormous. He looks at the fire ancestor, winds up, and punches him directly in the chest. The sound is like a thunderclap inside a closed room. The ancestor staggers. He tries to call fire. It comes, but the Black Bear ignores it completely and hits him again. And again. The Black Bear is laughing the entire time. I'm out. It's so nice out here. The air is good. I forgot how good air was. Hu Yang screams, focus. Right, sorry, punching. The ancestor is getting beaten. But he's smart. He starts pulling back, trying to escape. Once he's out of the temple and back in the spirit world, this is over. Hu Yang can't follow him there. He pulls out the Kushian rope. The rope moves like it's alive. It launches itself forward, catches the ancestor around the throat, and cinches tight. The ancestor pulls. The rope holds. He pulls harder. The rope does not move. The Kushian rope was made to bind gods. This is exactly what it was made for. Old Shur watches from the floor as his family's ancestral god, the spirit they worshipped for generations, the reason the Shur family was powerful in the first place, gets completely helpless. Tied up, struggling, going nowhere. The ancestor lets out a sound that shakes the entire building. Then his body starts dissolving, not from damage, but from the binding's power. In under a minute, he collapses entirely into a single glowing crystal. Fire red, dense, humming with centuries of stored power. The fire crystal drops into Hu Yang's open hand. Old Shur cannot move, cannot speak. He just stares at his family's protector, reduced to a small glowing rock in a 20-something-year-old's fist. And I bet you didn't see that coming. The thing the Shur family spent generations building and worshipping just became Hu Yang's power-up. Hu Yang looks down at Old Shur. His voice is completely calm. I'm going to make you an offer. Pay me everything the Shur family has in cash right now, and I'll leave your family name intact. Old Shur grits his teeth so hard you can hear it. But he pays. Every account, every reserve. He transfers it all. Shur Zhuan watches his father hand over the family's entire financial foundation and looks like he might actually faint. After they leave, Old Shur holds Shur Zhuan's broken body on the floor. Listen to me. Convert everything else, every property, every asset, into cash and supplies immediately. Strengthen the bunker. Find more ancient objects. And when we have enough strength built up, he pauses. We will destroy Hu Yang. I swear on the Shur family name. Meanwhile, Hu Yang has already moved on. He sits cross-legged in his room with a fire crystal in his palms. He channels his dark fire slowly, using it to melt the crystal down. The energy begins flowing into his body like a river, finally reaching the sea. A lotus flower made of red fire blooms in front of him. His eyes open, both glowing, the lotus flower visible inside his pupils. Daji announces the upgrade. The dark fire seed is now red lotus fire. He can shape fire precisely. He can shatter illusions. His supernatural strength is at level 2. He immediately forms a full-sized fire rifle in his right hand just to test it. Pulls the trigger once at the ceiling. The fire bolt hits perfectly and dissolves cleanly. He smiles. Not a happy smile. A ready smile. The kind of smile a man has when he knows the real work is finally starting. The next morning, the jewelry auction. Hu Yang walks in wearing completely normal clothes among a crowd of rich people in tailored suits and expensive watches. The staff stops him immediately. Members only, black bank card required. He produces a gold black card without a word. The staff member's entire posture changes. Please come in, sir. The ear comes up for bidding. The auctioneer describes it. Machines confirmed at least 500,000 worth of material inside. Clean emerald or excellent potential. The blonde kid from the Ho group bids 500,000 like it's pocket money. Hu Yang bids 600,000 from the back without looking up. The blonde kid turns around. Who is this? Hu Yang still isn't looking at him. The kid escalates. 700,000. Hey, be reasonable. Let the Ho group save a little face here. Hu Yang, 1 million. The crowd goes completely silent. That price is way beyond the ore's real value, and everyone in the room knows it. The blonde kid stares at Hu Yang for a long moment, then steps back. I'll remember you. Hu Yang, you got some nerve, kid. Hu Yang takes the ear home, and then the auction goes sideways in a way nobody planned for. A scream from the back of the room, then more screaming. Through purple mist that wasn't there a second ago, a snake-bodied demon with a human head comes slithering at full speed directly at Hu Yang. The demon smelled the ore from wherever it came from. The energy inside it woke something up, and now here it is, charging through an auction hall full of terrified wealthy people, going straight for the prize. The blonde kid screams a warning. Hu Yang catches the demon by the throat. One hand. It stops instantly like it hit a wall. The demon's tail whips around for a second attack. Hu Yang's eyes track it before it even moves. Dark fire beams fire from both eyes. The demon explodes into pieces. A single purple crystal floats down from the remains. He absorbs it. Slightly disappointed, small demon, small gain. The blonde kid is on his knees. He declares he wants to be Hu Yang's disciple immediately. Hu Yang is already walking out the door. Hu Yang's building. The morning of the final day. Boxes everywhere. His neighbors think he's opening a convenience store. His neighbor Zhang Annie is furious. She wanted that warehouse space for years, and now this kid is using it for a stockpile of things that look like emergency rations and medicine. She tells her grandson to go pee near Hu Yang's warehouse door. The kid does. Hu Yang picks the kid up and tosses him gently back at the grandmother. The urine soaks them both. Zhang Andy sputters with outrage. He closes his shutter and goes back to work. Zhang Andy starts planning her revenge. Firecrackers near the warehouse. One good spark and everything burns. She never gets a chance to try it. Her grandson comes home that evening with something he found, a mirror, a pretty one with a green tint. He gives it to his grandmother because she likes pretty things. And for about 10 seconds, Zhang Annie is pleased. Then the mirror shows something inside it. Green, moving, a face that isn't human. Zhang Annie screams so hard she falls off her chair. Her grandson, his eyes are slightly wrong. He's smiling a little too wide. He tilts his head at her. Grandma, don't you like mirrors? You always said you loved looking at things. The mirror demon reaches through the glass. Zhang Annie doesn't make it out clean from that encounter. By the time the demon is done with her, her skin has turned black and her eyes are solid red. She's standing up. She's moving. But the thing behind those eyes isn't Zhang Annie anymore. I want everything, she says. Everything should be mine. Meanwhile, Hu Yang has found out something from the black bear. After the apocalypse comes, the most valuable resource of all won't be food or weapons. It'll be land, uncontaminated soil, because the apocalypse corrupts water and air and ground. Growing anything will become nearly impossible within days. Seeds are useless without clean earth to grow them in. Hu Yang takes a taxi to the edge of the city. Empty fields, nobody around. He spreads his hands toward the ground and pulls. The earth responds, a massive vortex of clean soil spiraling upward into his palms, feeding directly into the Xiongyu. He pulls 20,000 kilograms before Daji starts screaming that the storage space is filling up with dirt and she's about to be buried. He stops. There's a crater the size of a small building behind him where the ground used to be. He looks at it, mutters that it still isn't enough. But time is running out. The zoo. Hu Yang brings Hu Yun here because he has a very specific plan. His sister needs protection that doesn't rely on him being physically present. He can't be with her every moment, especially once the apocalypse starts and the real hunting begins. He needs a guardian, something powerful enough to protect her even when surrounded. He takes her to the turtle enclosure. The old turtle is sitting on a rock like it has nowhere to be, because it doesn't. 3,000 years of slow, patient existence. It looks at Hu Yang, yawns and looks away. Daji and the black bear are immediately drooling inside the Xiongyu. A 3,000-year-old turtle is one step from mythical status. If they ate its soul energy, they'd both get massive power boosts. Hu Yang ignores them completely. He bows to the turtle formally. Elder, I have a request. The turtle ignores him. Hu Yang's eye sparks. I was also thinking about turtle soup. The turtle suddenly becomes very alert. What follows is one of the strangest negotiations in supernatural history. The turtle agrees to listen. Hu Yang explains about the coming apocalypse, about needing protection for his sister, about the Xiongyu and everything inside it. The turtle listens, and then, while appearing to agree, tries to use 3,000 years' worth of soul pressure to slowly dissolve Hu Yang's willpower and talk him into handing over the entire prison. For a moment, Hu Yang actually starts to waver. His thoughts blur. His body feels heavy. Inside the Xiongyu, even Daji and the black bear feel suddenly hopeless and slow. Hu Yang realizes what's happening half a second before it fully takes hold. He surges upright. Every bit of power he has floods back in one instant. He grabs the old turtle, which has now inflated to the size of a small house, and body slams it into the ground hard enough to crack the earth in a wide circle. The ground splits. Shockwaves throw everything nearby sideways. Lu Ruyin and her mother, who followed them into the zoo to try one more attempt at seduction, are knocked completely off their feet by the shockwave. Hu Yang pins the turtle, pulls out the Kushin rope, binds the turtle's neck before it can react. The black bear from inside the Xiongyu is going absolutely insane. Kill it. Eat it. I want soup. It tried to steal from us. Hu Yang ignores the bear. He presses a sword of red lotus fire directly against the turtle's ancient head. Submit or die. The 3,000-year-old king of turtles starts crying. Actual tears. It apologizes. It says it was just testing him. It begs. It promises everything. Eventually, the turtle soul is sealed inside the copper tablet as security. If it ever betrays Hu Yun, millions of lightning strikes hit it simultaneously. After the sealing, it shrinks back to its small, innocent form and hops onto Hu Yun's palm. "Don't call me old turtle," it tells her softly. "Call me Nan Nan." Hu Yun smiles. Nan Nan decides immediately that this girl is his favorite person he's met in 3,000 years. The apocalypse energy is spreading fast now. Every animal in the zoo has red eyes. They're breaking out of their enclosures. There's chaos on every path and in every exhibit. But Hu Yang moves through it like he's shopping. Every animal that hasn't completely turned into the Xiongyu. Tigers, birds, reptiles, all of them. Gone before they even know what happened. He finds a management office near the mountain side of the zoo. Cameras working, food and bedding inside, and naturally protected by terrain on one side. He installs Hu Yun here. Nan Nan activates an energy shield over the entire building. Red-eyed animals charge it from outside and bounce off like they hit a glass wall. A full-grown tiger slams face first into the shield and walks away confused. Hu Yang watches his sister stand at the window, looking out at the protected space, completely calm. "Go do what you need to do," she says. "I have Nan Nan. I'll get stronger while you're gone." He puts his hand on her head for just a moment. Then he climbs out the window and runs. Lu Ruyin and her mother never did find the right moment to approach Hu Yang at the zoo. Mostly because they spent most of the visit being spat on by llamas, losing a wig to a llama's mouth, falling into a pond that smelled like ancient animal waste, and then being surrounded by wolves with glowing red eyes. The last we see of them, the wolves are lunging. Lu Ruyin screams that she'll be queen and all men will bow at her feet. The wolves are not impressed. Hu Yang runs across rooftops through a city that's already coming apart. Cars are abandoned mid-road, some of them on fire. People sprint past below him, screaming things that don't quite make sense anymore. He passes one intersection where a crowd has gathered around something on the ground, and he doesn't stop to look because he already knows what it is. The television stations are still somehow broadcasting. The news anchor has clearly been told to stay calm at all costs, and she is. Very calmly reporting that there are some unusual incidents in several districts, that there seems to be a widespread, unexplained illness, that people should please stay indoors and stock up on supplies and trust the national response team. The comment section under the broadcast has 999 plus messages. The first one says, "I can't believe this is real." The second one says, "This is real. I watched it happen in front of me." And then someone posts a photograph. In the photo, a shadow rising behind the tallest buildings in the city. A shape that is clearly alive and clearly enormous and clearly not any animal that exists in any natural history book. The comment under the photo, "The world is ending." The anchor keeps smiling. "Please stay calm and do not leave your homes." Hu Yang reaches the Diwang building at 5 in the afternoon. He knows from his past life, the first small god arrives here at 6. He has exactly 1 hour. He goes to the roof, sits down in the center, and meditates. The fire chain pattern inside him begins to absorb the energy from everything around it. The day's fights, the absorbed crystals, the bone-deep experience of using his abilities under real pressure. The fire lotus blooms again inside his mind. Brighter this time. When he opens his eyes, his power is at level 3. Both soul, energy, and supernatural strength, both maxed. The fire in his eye is different now. More controlled, more precise, like the difference between a wildfire and a welding torch. But it won't cross into level 4. He can feel the ceiling there. Presses against it and nothing moves. He notes this. Doesn't panic about it. Moves on. What he doesn't know is that right now, elsewhere in the city, his decisions from the last 3 days are playing out in ways he couldn't have planned. Hu Yun's former teacher, the one who told him education couldn't be paused for anything, is sitting in her apartment at midnight with blue-tipped fingers and a low fever. She remembered his exact words. She bought Shang-Chi Dan almost as a joke. She takes 2 boxes. She passes out immediately. When she wakes up, she looks at her hand and it phases slightly, like the air is trying to forget her outline exists. She blinks. She tries again deliberately. Her hand turns transparent. She stares at it for a very long time. She eventually figures out she can make her entire body transparent. Not quite invisible, but invisible enough that most eyes slide right past her. She doesn't know yet that this ability came from Shang-Chi Dan interacting with early-stage infection. She doesn't know she was already infected. She just knows that the weird boy who pulled his student out of school 2 days ago told her to buy this medicine. She is now extremely grateful. Meanwhile, in the Song family villa, things are not going well. Song Ji-jun, a young member of the Song family, is burning up with fever, skin turning red. The family is panicking. Song Tae-yin has 3 boxes of Shang-Chi Dan that they managed to get hold of. He throws them through the bedroom door. Song Ji-jun crawls across the floor to them, forces a handful into his mouth, and waits. The door of the bedroom explodes off its hinges. Song Ji-jun walks out, muscles visible through his shirt, supernatural energy crackling around his fists. He punches the wall as a test. The wall has a fist-shaped hole in it immediately. Song Tae-yin watches his son's transformation, and his brain immediately starts calculating. 3 boxes, 3 awakened fighters. He orders the household to infect 3 carefully chosen people, expose them to early-stage infection, and then treat them with the medicine. Turn the fever into power. Then he issues a direct order. Find where Hu Yang's medicine stockpile is. Every box of Shang-Chi Dan in this city came from him. Go take it. The building manager on the Dewang building rooftop has thoroughly exhausted his ability to intimidate Hu Yang. He's tried everything. He's docked salaries. He's threatened lawsuits. He's had guards physically advance on a man who just sat there like the guards were mildly inconvenient weather. And then the sky turns the wrong color. It happens at exactly 6 o'clock. The light goes red, not sunset red, but wrong red, the kind of red that means something has broken somewhere in the structure of things. Lightning that isn't weather lightning cracks the sky horizontally, and then vertically, and then a pair of hands reaches through the crack from above, massive, gray-skinned, and very clearly real, forcing the tear in the sky wider. The building manager, who has been loudly talking about calling the police for the last 20 minutes, becomes very quiet. The hands force the tear wide enough for a body to come through. What drops onto the rooftop of the Dewang building is a military bull demon, half man, half bull, 8 feet tall, holding a pair of war axes that look like they were forged at the beginning of history. It lands, and the roof cracks from its weight. It opens its mouth and makes a sound that isn't quite a roar and isn't quite a scream, but is somehow both at once. Every surviving person on that rooftop runs or falls down, except Hu Yang, who stands up slowly, rolls his shoulders, and says, "Don't die too fast. I came here early specifically for you." The bull demon stares at him. The sheer disrespect of it takes a second to register. Then it charges. High-voltage Hu Yang doesn't dodge sideways. He steps into the charge and catches the demon's face in both hands. Complete stop. The demon's momentum, the weight of something that just fell through the sky, stopped by a human standing still. He summons the Xiong Yu's presence. The chains and binding energy of the great prison coffin extend outward, wrapping around the demon. The bull demon sees it, and something in it, some ancient instinct, recognizes what that place is. Its knees buckle. That place. Yes, Hu Yang says. That place. The bull demon, who fell through the sky with twin war axes and shook the roof when it landed, starts making sounds that are extremely undignified for something of its species. Its willpower collapses faster than its body ever could have. Hu Yang absorbs its soul energy. Soul energy level 3 advances to 5%. He looks at the soul energy number, shrugs slightly, and steps toward the edge of the roof. The building manager reaches up from the floor and grabs his ankle. "Take us with you. Please. You're a great man. You're a saint. I was wrong earlier." Huyang gently removes the hand. The world is ending. Help yourselves. And he jumps off the roof. Later, the logistics port. Huyang's Shang-Qing Dan stockpile. Stored in the port's massive warehouse, pending final delivery to his collection point. A group of armed men arrive. Young, organized, clearly not their first time doing something like this. One of the warehouse workers, Lao Wu, is already partially turning. His hands are gray. He's shaking. Nobody noticed until it's too late. Lao Wu grabs the nearest man's ankle. One bite. The man is dead in under a minute. Everyone realizes simultaneously. Chaos in the warehouse. They beat Lao Wu down fast, but the shock is still there. Everyone breathing hard, everyone pale. Huyang's voice comes from behind. 1 minute to leave. After that, you deal with me. They don't leave. Huyang vanishes. Reappears on top of the stacked crates like he teleported. Though it's less teleportation and more that he moved faster than anyone was tracking. He looks down at them from the top of a crate stack and points to one of the boxes. Your boss owns this port? Great. Then these are his. I'll take them. He absorbs everything. Every box. Every crate. The entire stockpile vanishes into the Xiongyu in under 30 seconds. The armed men look at an empty warehouse and have nothing to say. But the woman in red leather knows about it by the next morning. She sits in her European-style villa and listens to the full report. Huyang, supernatural fire abilities, and a storage power that can make warehouse-sized amounts of supplies vanish instantly. She wants that storage space. One of her men begins turning during the report, gray skin, lengthening nails. She doesn't flinch. She extends her hand and vines erupt from her palm, wrap around the man, drag him outside the door. A wet sound, then quiet. She looks at the remaining men. Control the port. Lock down the coastline. Build out. The city is fully into it now. Every district reporting the same things. Hospitals overwhelmed, then quiet. Police stations unreachable. Fires with no fire department coming. The organized systems that people spent their entire lives trusting simply stopped working overnight. And into all of this, the gods keep falling. A second tear in the sky opens above a residential colony. Not the Dewang building this time. A regular neighborhood. The kind of place with a convenience store on the corner and kids playing outside until dinner. The tear opens at 6 in the evening, and what comes through isn't a bull demon. It's a spider demon. Human face. 8 limbs. 2 bone white horns on its head. It hits the colony's courtyard, and the impact sends cracks through every wall in the immediate area. It looks at the humans running in every direction, and its face, that terrible, almost human face, stretches into something that might be a smile. My prey, it says. All of them mine. It shoots webs. The first one catches by Xian, the teacher, mid-run. The second catches the pregnant woman Wang. Webs keep coming, faster and faster, until the entire residential colony is cocooned. Every building wrapped in gray, sticky rope. Every exit sealed. Every person still inside, caught somewhere in the structure. Bai Xian hangs suspended and tries to understand what she's looking at. Is this demon making territory? Marking its area? Is this what happens to every neighborhood in the city? And if there are multiple sky tiers, multiple demons descending, how many are there? She doesn't finish the thought. She doesn't have an answer, and neither does anyone else. Back where things started falling apart, by Xian's apartment building, an hour earlier. The teacher came home to find her fingers faintly blue and a headache building behind her eyes. She took Huyang's advice, half joking with herself about it. Ate 2 boxes of Shang-Qing Dan. Passed out. When she woke up, the infection was stopped. More than stopped. Her body felt different. She couldn't explain it until she looked at her hand, and her hand looked back at her from the wrong side. She was transparent, not invisible, but close enough that when she concentrated, most eyes slid right past her without registering she was there. She stared at this phenomenon for long enough to miss the first sounds of trouble from the hallway. The sounds got louder. Then Jing'er started pounding on the door. Jing'er is Bai Xian's foster sister. The person Bai Xian raised through school, funded through college, helped find a job, gave a room in her home, treated like blood family for years. She shows up at the door screaming that zombies got into the building and she's been scratched. Bai Xian sees the wounds on her back. 3 deep ones. Zombie work, definitely. She opens the door immediately. Jing'er walks in and does not hug Bai Xian. She scans the apartment. She's looking for medicine boxes. She's already calculating. And then, while Bai Xian is going to get a cloth to clean the wounds, Jing'er walks to the door, opens it just enough, shoves Bai Xian into the zombie-filled hallway, and closes and locks the door behind her. From inside, I always hated you. Your house, your money, your easy life. You raised me and paid for everything, and I hated you for every second of it. Because you had things I didn't. And that isn't fair, and it was never fair, and now goodbye. Bai Xian is in the hallway. Zombies on both sides. She can hear Jing'er searching through her apartment for the medicine boxes. And then, Bai Xian disappears. Her ability activates from pure survival panic. Her body phases to near transparent, and the zombies swarm right past her like she's a ghost. She runs. She runs through them and through the stairwell and through the lobby and out the front door, and she doesn't stop until she's outside under a tree in the open air. She's shaking so hard she can barely stand up. But she's alive. Inside the apartment, Jing'er finds exactly 1 empty medicine box. Everything else Bai Xian already took. She tears the apartment apart. Nothing. She can feel the infection spreading, fingers turning, skin changing. She picks up her phone. She calls Bai Xian. Bai Xian answers. On video. Sitting somewhere safe, holding the medicine bag. Looking at Jing'er's darkening face on the screen with an expression that isn't angry. It's just tired. Is this what you're looking for? Bai Xian asks. Jing'er shifts instantly to tears. She begs. She apologizes. She says she was scared and lost her mind, and please, 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 they're sisters, aren't they? They're family. Bai Xian would never really. I'm not a saint, Bai Xian says. Not anymore. She hangs up. Jing'er screams. Curses. Swears she'll come back as something terrible and make Bai Xian pay. And then there's a sound that isn't screaming anymore. And then silence. Bai Xian sits in the open air and doesn't feel good about it. She doesn't feel bad about it either. She just feels the world that existed yesterday. The world where being kind and patient and forgiving was how you survived. That world is gone. And the new one has different rules. Bai Xian finds old Lu, the elderly man, and pregnant Wang's sister hiding near a tree in the colony. They survived because they were outside when the chaos started. They're gathered with a few other survivors. One young man crying about his parents he can't reach. One guard who is barely holding it together. And then the spider demon drops into the courtyard. Everyone runs. Everyone gets caught. Bai Xian goes transparent. The webs miss her somehow. She's able to stay free while everyone around her is cocooned. She watches the spider demon wrap the colony in its web and realizes it's making this entire area its territory. She's trapped inside it. She can't get out through the main gate. She's free inside, but free inside a sealed web-covered colony is still a prison. She looks at the cocooned form of the pregnant woman, old Lu. The terrified face is behind web silk, and she thinks, not for the first time and not for the last time, about the boy who told her to buy medicine and stock up on weapons and prepare for something she didn't believe was coming. She thinks about him very seriously now. Meanwhile, the Song family is moving. Song Tianyin successfully awakened 3 supernatural fighters using the Shangqing Dan and controlled infection method. He now has Song Jijun plus 2 others, all with genuine power, all under family control. He issues the order. Go to the logistics port district. Find the Shangqing Dan stockpile, registered to the name Hu Yang. Take it. Bring enough fighters to handle whatever resistance shows up. Song Tian stands at the window of his villa looking out at the red sky and says one thing very quietly to nobody in particular. Hu Yang, I don't know what you are. Everything in the city now falls into one of 3 categories. The turned, zombies possessed, infected too far to pull back. The protected, people who got Shangqing Dan in time, either awakened or at least shielded from the worst of it. And the lost, everyone in between, scrambling through a city that no longer has rules. Hu Yang moves through all 3 categories at once. He's on the rooftops. He's tracking tears in the sky. He's counting descending gods the way a general counts enemy units. His past life memory gives him rough estimates of what's coming, but the specifics change. Some gods land in different places. The timeline shifts slightly. He can't rely completely on what he remembers. What he can rely on, every god that falls is a source of soul energy. Every soul energy gain unlocks more of the Xiongyu. More of the Xiongyu means stronger allies, more storage capacity, more control over the new world being built in the ruins of the old one. He needs to hunt. Systematically. The bull demon's death established something important. Hu Yang can take on descending gods at his current power level, but just barely. The bull demon folded the moment it saw the Xiongyu. Not all of them will do that. Some will fight until the very end. Some will have abilities that dark fire can't immediately counter. He needs to be smarter, not just stronger. He starts mapping the city from memory. Every building, every elevated position, every place a tear in the sky is likely to open based on his past life recollection. He's essentially building a hunting route. Hit as many descending gods as possible in the shortest time. Absorb their soul energy. Push through the level 4 ceiling. He doesn't know yet what's on the other side of level 4, but he knows he needs it. Daji updates him on the Xiong status during one of his rooftop rest stops. The black bear is thrilled about the outing, keeps talking about the quality of the air and begging to come out again. Lei Zenji refuses to acknowledge any of this is happening and pretends to be deeply asleep. And somewhere in the upper floors, things Daji isn't ready to name, yet are beginning to stir. The increased activity, the soul energy flowing through the prison. It's waking things up, things that have been asleep for a very long time. Daji says this carefully. Hu Yang hears what she isn't saying, that the contents of the upper floors are not going to be as straightforward as the black bear. They're not going to immediately start performing for a new master. Some of them might require more than a binding rope and a fire sword. He notes this, files it away, keeps moving. The city's supply situation is already critical. The Song family's attempt to raid his logistics stockpile failed. They found an empty warehouse and a very embarrassing story to tell. But they still have 3 awakened supernatural fighters and access to significant resources. Song Tianyin is smart. He adapts fast. He pivots from trying to take Hu Yang's stockpile directly to building his own, using armed men to raid smaller collections across the city. Every survivor who built a small personal supply, every community that tried to organize independently, the Song family's people move through them like a wave. They're not the only organized group doing this. The woman in red leather controls the port district now. Her vine abilities combined with organized fighters create an effective perimeter. She's already turned away 3 separate raider groups. She's building something, a survivor settlement, a power base, a future kingdom. She just needs one more piece to make it truly unassailable. Hu Yang's storage ability. She's hunting him the same way he's hunting gods. She just hasn't caught him in a good moment yet. Bai Xian is still inside the spider demon's web colony, but she hasn't stopped thinking. She spent the last few hours testing her transparency ability, figuring out exactly how it works, how long it lasts, what drains it faster. She can phase through the webs when she's transparent, but her energy burns hard when she does. She estimates she can get in and out of the web freely, but she can't sustain a fight inside it. She also figures out she can selectively phase parts of her body, just her hand, just her foot. She uses this to carefully tear through the web threads holding the pregnant Wang's sister. It takes patience. It takes concentration. But one by one, the threads part without the spider demon noticing. Wang's sister drops to the ground, shaking. Bai Xian catches her before she can make noise. This is the first thing Bai Xian has ever done with her ability that wasn't just escape. It feels different. It feels like a choice rather than a panic response. Something settles in her. Not comfort exactly, but direction. She's going to get these people out. All of them. Hu Yang feels the level 4 ceiling pressing on him with every fight. Every god he drops pushes him closer, but the wall won't give. It's not a matter of raw power. Something else is needed. A specific type of energy, or a specific type of experience, or something he hasn't found yet. He takes a moment on a high building and looks at the city laid out below him. Red sky, fires in 3 districts, small tears opening and closing in the sky like wounds that won't heal. People running in the streets below, some running away from things, some running toward things, some standing completely still because their brains have stopped processing what their eyes are seeing. He fought every fight this week thinking about revenge, about Shi, about Lu Ruyan, about the tablet and his sister and the fire that killed him. And all of those things are still true. He hasn't forgotten any of it. But standing here, looking at a city of people who have no idea what's happening to them, who never had any warning, who never got a second chance. He thinks about the teacher who bought Shangqing Dan because a student's older brother seemed sincere. He thinks about the pregnant woman Wang's sister and old Lu the elderly man hiding under a tree together because there was nowhere else to go. He thinks about his sister telling him she doesn't want to be a burden. She wants to be useful. The revenge can wait. It'll keep. Shi Juin and Lu Ruyan are somewhere in this city, terrified, powerless, probably separated from each other. They'll surface eventually, and when they do, he'll be ready. But right now, there's a city full of people who need what he has. He jumps off the building and starts moving again. The Xiongyu. Late that night, Hu Yang sits inside the great prison, actually inside it for the first time, not just at the entrance. Daji takes him deeper than before. The lightning inside is less frequent here, not because things are calmer, but because the things on the upper floors need less external control. They control themselves. He passes a floor where something very large is breathing behind a locked door. He doesn't try to open it. He passes a floor that's completely dark and completely silent, and that's somehow worse than the screaming floors below it. He makes it to a floor where a figure sits cross-legged in the center of the room, surrounded by chains that glow rather than clank. The figure doesn't look at him, but speaks. So the new master finally walks the floors. Huyang doesn't answer right away. He looks at the chains, at the glow, at the figure's posture, not defeated, not angry, patient, like something that has been waiting since before most current civilizations existed. What are you? Huyang asks. Something that was here before the prison was built, the figure says, and something that will be here after the master leaves. Daji grabs Hu Yang's arm and pulls him quickly back toward the exit. She tells him firmly that they are not ready for that floor yet. He doesn't argue, but as they move back through the levels, he can feel the figure's attention following him through the walls and the chains and the lightning. It knows he was there. It's already thinking about him. He files this away next to everything else he doesn't have an answer for yet. The level 4 ceiling, the upper floors, the red leather woman hunting him, Song Tianyin building an army, the spider demon colonizing neighborhoods, the tears in the sky that keep opening. He has the tablet. He has the rope. He has a fire inside him that came from his own death. He has a list of every person who needs to answer for what they did to him. And he has 3,000 years of Turtle Guardian watching over his sister in a fortified zoo management office. And most importantly, he knows how the story ends. Or rather, how it was supposed to end. This time, he's writing a different version. He walks out onto the street at the break of dawn. The city around him is silent in the way cities are never silent. Not peaceful, just exhausted. The first night of the apocalypse is over. The survivors made it through, or they didn't. The zombies are there. The gods are there. The organized groups are claiming territory. And Hu Yang is still standing. He looks up at the sky. Still red. Still wrong. More tears forming and closing and forming again like the sky is breathing. More things up there waiting to fall. He cracks his knuckles. His right eye burns gold in the early morning. He has work to do. That's where this arc ends. And this world is just getting started. Like and subscribe if you